Ken White, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think this is the first, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the first time for RCR that I'm driving a car with the window sticker still on it.
Probably.
I wonder if, like...
Is this the very, very first new
car? New.
Like not somebody else's new car that they have 10 miles on.
Right. Like no one has owned this car yet.
Right.
And
I will not sales pitch you.
We had those Kias, but those were press mules.
Yeah, those are not the same.
No, and none of them were manual.
And those are also pre-production too. That's from the it's from the pre-production like B set of cars that they produce before the dealerships and the public get their cars.
Oh.
So this is the actual Impreza.
Yeah. Is there a like a chassis code to this?
Yes. I do not know it off the top of my head.
It's might be written on there. The people in the Subaru forums will know.
Yeah, they will. This is the global platform chassis.
Okay.
So the ones that are produced here in Indiana, in America, the global platform is the one that's got more of the sweeping bends, less weld points, less 90-degree bends, and it can also receive different power plants. So the goal with the global platform chassis is that they can, in the future, electric, hybrid drives, like the upcoming hybrid Crosstrek that's coming back out. That uses the Toyota regenerative process. That one's going to be based on the global platform as well.
Okay. So anyway, for the sake of this, it's a 2019 base model Impreza. There, like Ken said, like, oh, you want to come here film a car off the lot? I'm like, yeah. Like, what do you want? You want a WRX? Do you want like the Forester Sport?
Yeah.
No, I want a base model Impreza and stick. I'm like, we got one. Okay.
And this came in last week, so it won't last long. It's good that you came today to do this, because probably by Saturday this car won't be on our lot anymore and it'll be in someone's driveway. Yeah,
because when we were on the phone, it's like, in the event it wasn't going to be here by the end of the week.
I partially expected it to be sold this past Saturday.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going to go back the other way, the opposite way that we were taking.
Oh, yeah, just drive it.
So, what I'm doing what I'm trying to figure out is it gonna hang revs? That's the only criticism.
For sure.
Okay.
Get it up when we get out on the back straightaway, and you give it a little bit of beans in second.
Yeah.
Get it up to about 4K. You'll feel it hang right up there, but it makes it nicer to, the shift point is longer, so you don't have to blip in between.
You know, I have to blip in my my Forester all the time.
I blip in my BRZ because it drops revs so quick.
Yeah.
Now, the modern transmissions are designed to hang them a little longer so that people who aren't quite so slick, especially new drivers, have a larger window to make their shift in.
The clutch engagement is right in the middle. It's not low or high.
Right. Classic Subaru.
This, maybe I'm used to driving older Subarus, but the stick shift isn't, well, it's a new car. The stick shift isn't going to be sloppy. Right. But then again, you used to get into like Toyotas, but then Toyotas from the 2000s that always were too notchy, would fight you a little bit.
One of the things I really love about the base model of almost every car manufacturer is they're beautifully put together. You don't have to spend a lot of money on a new car to get yourself all of the things that you need in a vehicle. You're not going to get anything fancy, but over time, those things tend not to last for every manufacturer. So if you have to get yourself a new car, the basic car is not a bad choice, and that's for any model line, for any manufacturer.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, this is when people ask, what does it feel like to push 40? It's like, well, now all cars come with electric windows. There is like on that option sticker, I think dealer options, it has in the back, it has the rubber floor mats, the rubber Subaru floor mats. That's it. But I have all electric windows. I have Pandora. which in people in other countries, sometimes that blocks that. It blocks it in New Zealand, which is weird.
CarPlay and Android Auto are the two big ones. Being able to plug your phone directly in and then show your Apple Maps or Google Maps, have your messages, all your music, everything you like. That's big because you don't need to purchase nav for a car. And when you plug your phone in, you see the nav on the screen.
Yeah, and people prefer their phone maps to their existing ones. Okay.
You'll feel it hang the revs at this
All right, I am in second.
Go ahead.
There it is. Or was I? No, that's second.
Yeah, you're second. It's a 5-speed.
There it is. Okay.
And now shift to third, you'll feel it. See how long it hangs?
Oh, yeah.
That way you have a larger shift window, so you don't have to feel like you really need to pump it to get that.
Okay.
It's a more forgiving clutch.
Yeah.
It's a more forgiving 5-speed than in the past.
Now going back down. Now by instinct I blipped it going down. Well, it doesn't have rev mats, so you'd have to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which way should I go?
Oh, it's up to you. You're driving.
Oh, thanks, man. I never went straight. I think there's a one-lane bridge up there.
Go for it.
Ah, yeah. So there is a difference. The 500cc difference is noticeable just on this little hill, just coming from my Forester. My 04 Forester will grunt up that with the EJ25. This is a 2-liter as opposed to 2.5, but this does have direct injection. And I noticed when we did that pull out there, the EJ25, I had the right of way there, right?
I think so.
Okay. The EJ25, once you get it above 4.5, that's really it. Yeah, with the single cam and stuff like that. This is double cam. This will maintain correct burn in your higher RPMs.
Yes. This, in fact, because it redlines around 6.5, I actually don't recommend most people push it that far. They don't need to, because you have a diminishing return on your horsepower around 5.5 thou.
Okay.
So why would you throw it beyond there and start stressing the bearings and stressing the system when you don't have to?
Right.
It's got a remarkably linear torque curve, but again, most normally aspirated cars do. I just like the fact that you get the best all-wheel drive system around in a $20,000 car with a true 5-star safety rating across the board that does every single thing right. The seats are better than they were in the past for the ergonomic support. I like the little touch screen. It's super clear. When you're on your backup camera, you throw the car in reverse.
Yeah, that's another thing. People demand backup cameras now.
And they demand Bluetooth, which is all done with your left thumb.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, source is right there.
That's your audio source. Your Bluetooth buttons are the talk and phone buttons. The right buttons is your cruise control. So most of the time, unless you're shifting, you can keep your hands at 9 and 3 as you drive.
Cool. Okay, I'm looking for a place to turn around.
Oh, I'll get you one in a second. You just drive. Enjoy this thing. It's not every day that you get to hoon about in a brand new car.
They do give you a miles per gallon in a very sort of BMW way. There's a miles per gallon little indicator there, but it doesn't say what I'm doing. Oh wait, it does. It says it up there.
Yes, it does.
Wait, if I go through the menu,
you can blank that out, and yeah, all the menu stuff is with your left thumb, but it's best done when you're not driving.
All right.
Subaru actually disables many of the functions.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I found it. The instant miles per gallon. So yeah, it's wider up there. The horsepower in this has moved further up the rev range from the EJ25.
Well, it's a smaller block, so you have to. You can't. The torque figures are going to be pretty similar as they were in the past, but the way it delivers power is much more linear, much more geared towards ease of use. We don't want to have people have to shift up, shift down, shift up, shift down.
Yeah.
Leave it in gear a little longer.
Yeah, this thing doesn't.
Not your stop sign, actually.
Not mine, really. Oh, okay, that hill. It's weird. I'm going on and off the throttle because in the older 2000s, the all the gear shifts in Subarus were like bah, 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 going around. This one isn't moving. I mean, if I'm I'm trying to make it wrap and buck, but because it's an electronic throttle, the computer's going, yeah, I see what you're doing, and I'm not letting you do that.
Right, there's no cable that you're tugging on with your big toe.
Yeah.
And you can see from your little gauge up there that tops out at 99.9. That's your maximum fuel economy projected.
Yeah.
So it's going to rise and fall with your driving habits, and the biggest influence on anything that's electronic throttle control is going to be your right foot. I mean, I can pull 25, 30 miles per gallon all day long in my BRZ if I'm gentle.
Yeah.
But when I thrash on it, my display goes down to 4. I'm like, there we go, that's where I'm having fun.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of what you want the car to do. This is kind of all things for all people at an everyman price point.
I would have to learn how to shift smoother, because I'm still shifting in my head that this thing has a mechanical cable and choppier port fuel injection than the direct. So I think I could be a little bit more inattentive to where I'm shifting the car in the rev range and just let the computer controlled throttle handle it.
Yeah, and I've had some people who are not yet adept at working the clutch as maybe they should be, who really drop the clutch out hard.
Yeah.
And that's not advisable on any transmission, but at the same time, you're not going to hurt it as bad as you might have in the past.
Right.
I love the fact, though, that it feels Subaru-y. It feels grippy. It feels like when you're not slamming on the gas, you turn nose in, it grabs and goes. It feels like when you gotta hit the brakes, those brakes snap.
Yeah.
Everything on it is tight and well built. And I know my old 97 still feels that way. It feels like it did in 97.
Wait, I don't have a stop sign there, do I?
That's correct.
That's weird.
Yeah.
On Alani.
Yeah, well, Pennsylvania's a weird state. Or Commonwealth.
I'm there above 4. You can kind of hear the growl is there.
Sure, but
wait, it's naturally aspirated, because that's why I didn't hear the growl so much in that base model WRX that I drove like 3 years ago, when it was a wholly negative review on that one, because I'm like, where's the craziness? But the Subaru craziness is now found in the base models, and
it's always been found in the base models. And if you want to, this is something I was telling Nick. If you want to make your $20,000 base model behave like a $30,000 WRX,
yeah,
it's going to cost you a lot more than 10 grand to do that.
Yeah.
So the modern manufacturing technology and economies of scale in the way that big manufacturers are able to produce cars means that you're going to get a higher quality as you go up in the price line, but it's only going to be in terms of the options that you get. So when you get an Impreza versus a WRX, the WRX, again, different chassis, but different suspension, different wheels, different cooling system for the engine. I mean, top mount plus bigger intercooler, everything has to be cooled off. You have a variable scroll turbo, and those things all add up to well over $10,000 if you were to do those aftermarket.
Right.
So for the people who want the fun and that fun factor first of a WRX, I wouldn't suggest they purchase the Impreza and dump 10 G's into it.
No.
Rather the contrary, save up your money, put a bigger down payment down to get your WRX at the same monthly payment. I think a base model car is beautiful for its simplicity. It doesn't have anything to go wrong. It's just an honest, nice car.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're still doing the soft touch plastics on the dash, and the felt here on the doors.
Oh, and even the armrests are padded too, so you don't ding your elbows on them. I like the fact that they have little smart design things like your armrest extension for the driver.
I'd like to have an armrest in my 04 Forester.
Well, that's right. They didn't give you one, did they? They have cup holders there.
They did it in, I think, the Eddie Bauer edition, and they also did it on the Forester XT. but what they did was they bolted another console on top of it.
Yeah, it's not. No.
So it goes because there's no support in it. It's just drilled into the other one. I'm like, all right.
You might want to put a piece of felt in between those and re-screw it in place, and then that rattle will be gone. Or maybe just Forester Sport when you're ready.
Maybe.
So
well,
nice.
again,
They're so nice.
People in the comments go, but does it have metal tie-down loops in the back? We'll see. That's the weird thing about me choosing cars is that my daily, it has to work as a camera car. But this is definitely a return to form for Subaru, making really nice, cheap, everyday dailies that may have kind of gone the wayside in the mid-2000s, but in a very Portlandia way, the spirit of the 90s exists in the 2019 Impreza base model with a stick shift. Thank you, Ken.
Brian, it's been a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
I got one last thing to add about this car that I really personally like. When you compare this to every other $20,000 car, there's trade-offs. So, like, this will not get the same fuel efficiency as a $20,000 Civic. It won't. It's got four wheels being driven.
Yeah, it's
got
just
an
a fact
all-wheel
of the
drive system, right?
Yeah.
So the trade-off is safer, better grip, less fuel economy.
Right.
But for the person who wants the fuel economy, this shouldn't even be a choice.
Right.
If that's your primary requirement, stay away. We want the customers who have to get to their jobs in terrible weather and get home again.
Right.
We don't care if you can get there on a nice sunny day. Anybody can.
And there's another thing that we didn't talk about this in the review, but right down there is the traction control off button. And if it were snowing, with this, a cheap car doing big four-wheel drifts around a parking lot.
There's far fewer things that provide as much joy as turning off traction control.
Right.
Actually, the traction control system in Subarus too, when it's off, it's just putting 100% of the power to the four wheels.
Okay.
It stops it from dynamically moving around when it senses slip. So donuts in parking lots all day. I mean, it's one of those things where turn it off, mat it, and you just do pirouettes.
Yeah, I did that in that thing.
Yeah.
It's not on film, but just...
Let's not do that on film. But
No.
That's the thing, though.
Because this is gonna be somebody's car probably in a week.
And I do appreciate that you were gentle on it and nice because
thanks.
the next person gets it.
You're right. It wasn't hooned at all. We just drove it around a little bit.